and welcome to CCB Television or CCB TV. And today it's CCB Local, where we pop up in your neighbourhood. Only it's my neighbourhood, Elizabeth Bay. Glistening on the harbour side, a short sort of hop, skip and tumble down the Woolloomooloo stairs from the Arco, New South Wales. It's a place full of wonderful apartment buildings. Some of the earliest apartment buildings were built here in the early 20th century, through to the mid-century marvel you see behind me now, designed by Harry Seidler in 1960 and the winner of architectural awards. And with CCB Local, it's part of a program where we explore people's homes, their collections, meet architects, artists, cultural aficionados, which seems incredibly appropriate to Elizabeth Bay, where artists, curators have lived since the suburb was developed. So here at Ithaca Gardens, designed by Harry Seidler, we'll have Penelope Seidler speaking to us today. You would have seen Marita Louver's wonderful introduction to her John Nixon painting in her apartment before. And we'll explore Mary McCarter's collection live at our CCB evening event coming up. So welcome to Elizabeth Bay, my neighbourhood. I live just down the road. Welcome to this magnificent building designed by Harry Seidler. And please, come with us to meet Penelope and explore the apartments.
Hello, well it's wonderful to be back here at Ithaca Gardens. I was the first person, me and Harry, my husband, to move in January 1960. Been waiting a year for the building to be finished. Been married already a year. And I think we moved in actually before it was really complete. Lived up there. It was very exciting, my own place for the first time. The building had originally been designed as maisonettes, that's two-storey apartments, but the real estate agent said elderly people live in these apartments, usually widows, and they wouldn't like that. They wouldn't like the steps, and they wouldn't like floor-to-ceiling windows. So the window sills are quite high, as we'll see later. But I moved in, there was none of this beautiful greenery. It was just a building site, and I planted some trees over there, which I got from Mura. And I'm very pleased to see the way the garden's grown up now. I said, why was it called Ithaca Gardens? Because there was no garden. That was real estate name. Everything was something gardens. And other people followed, of course, including Rupert Murdoch, who lived just up there. And it was when he first came to Sydney, about 1962, I think it was. And I used to get into the elevator with him and his first wife. So there's a bit of history attached in that 60 years. Like 60 years, I mean, it seems incredible. I think I was 21 then, just turned 21. So I remember Harry making out of paper this canopy and discussing it with the engineers if it could be done. And of course it does make a very welcome entrance. And I think the building looks pretty good after 60 years. Well, here we are in the living room, and you'll see these bookshelves, and this built-in unit is original, so it's been here 60 years, it hasn't changed at all. Shows a little sign of wear, but we could fix that up. I'm delighted to see that it's still, these are the speakers, of course, for the, what was the gramophone and radio and the television in here, and there it still is a television. And yeah, exactly the same, the table there with the chairs. The kitchen's the same. These sliding coloured glass doors are all original with the lights behind. And this little thing, this was a little cupboard to the outside And I used to put the money in the box, and in the morning the milk would be there. But of course that's a bygone era. And these Italian tiles, they're all original. It's still looking very fresh. Lovely view out the back over Paddington and the rest of Elizabeth Bay. Yeah, very nostalgic coming here. Now we'll go into the bathroom. Let me see. Oh yes, we had these doors done. They're vinyl covered with aluminium frames. I remember that very well. So they've held up well, and the bathroom tiles are all original. And the towel rails, two lovely long towel rails. I never think that people put big enough, wide enough towel rails in places these days. And the toilet is off the floor. So in 1959, when it was put in, that was pretty revolutionary. It was, in those days, the window didn't go to the top because you had to have a certain amount of space like that for the fresh air. That was the regulation then. But now, of course, that's been changed. Just as it was, the two little bedside tables, original. And this was my makeup drawer. You'd open this and the lights would come on. There was a mirror there, so you could sit there and do your makeup. Very 50s and 60s, I think. I don't have that in my present house, but I wish I did. So this is all original built in, and of course the wardrobes also. And the baffle for the lights. Not much has changed. I mean, it hasn't changed at all, really. It has a patina of old age. Oh, the sills in here are interesting. The agent said that people wouldn't like lower sill heights than this, but we had put in our sill tiles. Makes a nice little spot to put your drink on without wrecking the wall. But these days I think people would consider that too high for the sill. I used to lie down on those tiles and read books when I was doing architecture. It was gorgeous. Oh, it's wonderful that the blue wall is original. An accent, yeah. But of course there was no security. Anybody could walk into the building from the street. There was no fence. Anyone could come in and get the elevator up. There was one lock on the door. I mean, people just did not worry about security in those days. But my son was 3 when we moved out, and he was getting pretty sophisticated about getting out onto the balcony and getting down in the elevator. So I was glad when we moved into our house.
My name is Christina. I'm an architect, and about 2 years ago I purchased this apartment on level 6 in beautiful Ithaca Gardens. Prior to that I was living down on level 3 in a completely original Penelope Seidler apartment, which was absolutely gorgeous. And I think it really taught me a lot about the spatial qualities and the feeling of living in this apartment building, which I absolutely love. So when there was an opportunity for me to buy up on level 6, it happened almost overnight, and I was very excited about it. Unlike what you see here now, the apartment when I purchased it had been renovated probably in the late 70s, early 80s. So the kitchen through there was a kind of brown country kitchen. There was a marble fireplace unit here, even though there's no fireplace, and it had been really kind of done over, and nothing about the apartment was original. So it was kind of an exciting opportunity for me as an architect to, I guess, reinterpret the kind of nature of the building, but also to do it in a contemporary way, and perhaps to provide a little bit more functionality. As much as I enjoyed the experience of living in the original apartment, which is 60 years old, you're also quite used to having today's conveniences and functionality. So some of the things, I guess the spatial configuration of the apartment remained unchanged, and that was something that I really learned from living downstairs, was just how much I loved the quality of space, the proportions, the light, the aspect. So there was no need to change the principal configurations of the rooms. But equally, I suppose the work that I did to the apartment ended up being removing a series of walls, creating joinery elements in place of those, and really just allowing a greater level of functionality. So one of the things that I was explaining to Penelope was that in the original had a wall through there, and a door leading into the kitchen, and a door leading into the ante-space of the bathroom. And so when I removed that, the joinery then replaced that, but again it reads as a T to kind of reference the original openings that were there. Even down to the datum line, so you'll kind of see that there's a line that's been kind of struck throughout the joinery, and that actually continues through. It goes into the kitchen where the splashbacks are, but you can see it has a direct relationship to the top of the windows. Again, so that everything feels like it has a purpose and a reason for being. The kitchen as a space remained in its original location, although all of the country kitchen joinery was stripped out, and it enabled to create a much more contemporary version of the kitchen. You'll see that the low benches extend out towards the perimeter. The splashbacks were kept kind of unadorned to just read the stone. But then the back areas of the kitchen had more of the full height joinery elements that conceal fridges, appliances, and even washing machine and dryers. So it kind of allows, I guess, a greater level of functionality, and it has really custom storage, which is also really exciting for the space. The materiality was also a direct reference to the original Seidler materials in the building. So the use of a laminate finish for the joinery over perhaps a polyurethane or a veneer was quite deliberate. The stone was an interpretation of the terrazzo that's used in the lobby on the ground floor. And I suppose the material palette of using blacks and greys was also something that's very much kind of featured in the Seidler building itself. If you move into the other areas, the bathroom was quite significantly altered when I purchased the apartment. And so what I looked to do, originally the apartment had in its configuration a shower, toilet, hand basin, and then bath, which was highly functional but also quite constrained in terms of the size of the space. So I ended up leaving out the bath, increasing the overall kind of spatial arrangement, and just having a central stone kind of plinth for the vanity, and also changing the configuration of shower to just make this feel like a much more open plan space. The materials used in the bathroom, again, kind of reference back to the original. So this is a 20 by 20 mosaic tile that was used on the other apartments. The stone, again, kind of references back to the terrazzo finish. And then the walls are actually all just clad in a seamless Corian material, so that they really weren't the focus of the space, and obviously also they're fabulous from a cleaning point of view.
Yes, well, you'll see we're facing north now towards the view, and there are sunshades in every apartment which allow the sun to penetrate in the winter but not the summer. That's a typical sideward design for the north elevation. And what's really nice about this building is it's got a north-south through ventilation, and the east and the west which can be problematic, don't have any windows at all.
Hello. Hi, Penelope.
Why to be here?
Thank you for coming to this building.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
And also for your contribution and council on this building. for
Oh,
many years.
well, it's part of me, part of my DNA, this building.
Yeah, it's fun. Hello, CCB. Looking forward to seeing you here in my home on Thursday evening.